Finishes, Video 1. To begin placing finishes in our house, we will add flooring, paint colors, materials for kitchen countertops, bathroom countertops, as well as a ceiling for our lighting, and also trim for our base molding and our crown molding. So a few videos for this one. We'll start with flooring first. So in the previous videos, we created our concrete slab, and we offset our concrete slab -1 inch below the first floor line. We place this gap here so that when we create our flooring material, whether that's hardwood, tile, or carpet, we will have room for that flooring to be placed below the first floor line, because the first floor line is where the occupants stand in the home, and it's where the top of the flooring would be. So for flooring, we will go back to the Architecture tab and we will create a new floor. So we'll click on the Floor button, and notice that we have a concrete slab, we have a 2-inch countertop, we have a generic 12-inch system, so we don't have anything that says hardwood floor or carpet or anything like that. So we'll start with generic, and this is when we start customizing our home in Revit. So we will click the Edit Type button, and we will edit the structure of the floor. So inside this generic floor, we will change our thickness . Excuse me, we will duplicate first. We will change this to hardwood flooring. We will rename it, and then we will edit the structure. We don't want to override that generic floor in case we need it again. Okay, so our hardwood flooring, we will make that 1 inch thick. Now, just to have full disclosure, all your flooring might be different thicknesses. But for the seamlessness of this Revit model and having all of the flooring line up together and not go over top the bottom of your cabinets or to go over top the bottom of your toilet or your bathtub, we are going to just have everything be 1 inch, have it be uniform, and then our graphics look accurate. Okay, so for the material, we will use, there's 2 ways to do this in Revit. You can go online, you can find an exact picture of a specific floor material that you want to use, and you would be able to import that photograph, that thumbnail, into Revit and have that particular hardwood material be present on your graphic exports at the end of the design. That will be for a later unit when we go through the details of creating your own custom pieces. But for right now, we are going to just use what Revit will give us. So there are plenty of options here. I'm going to give you the creative freedom to pick what hardwood floor you want to use. Just know that it is not a specific material. So you could not say that this is a Shaw model number, XYZ 1234. You would just have, I want a brown hardwood floor in my home. And for right now, that'll be suffice. And then in our next units, when we go through customizing items, then we will actually specify we want Shaw XYZ 1234 model floor in our Revit model. All right, so having said all that, we will start with a default floor. And we are going to right click and we are going to duplicate. Okay, we never want to override a default because then we will not have it for the base of our future materials. Okay, so we are going to rename this. We will say hardwood floor. And generally here, if you have more than one material, you would specify where. But we're going to have mostly hardwood floor in the home, so we'll just leave it at hardwood floor. And actually, let's reverse that. Floor, hardwood. So when we have a floor tile, it'll be in the same section alphabetized. So floor, hardwood. And then for our graphics, that's when we see the color of the actual material without it being a realistic view. So down here we have shaded on. So what do we want to see when we have the shaded option turned on? Do we want to see the actual appearance? I would say yes, so I always check that box. And then I click on appearance. And we see here that we have no image selected. So we have no texture. We have no material assigned to this generic floor. It's just a generic gray. So we are going to assign a material for this floor. And before we do that, we need to start at the very top under the appearance tab, and we want to duplicate this generic. Same way when we duplicated the project material, we want to duplicate the asset tag. So we are duplicating that. And then we can select an image. So we're going to click on the image. And we will locate our Revit material library where we can insert the images that are given to us. And before we can add a material to this default floor, or excuse me, to our floor-hardwood, we need to make sure we can direct this image library correctly. So just follow me here real quick. It's a one-time thing. We're going to find this oak flooring default floor. We could have started here, but I want you to always start with the default. That way we're not overriding anything that's already here. So let's click on this image for this red oak classic natural flooring. And notice we are in this mats folder, which is the default material for every specific material that Revit can give you. So we have plenty of different options here. And before we can assign the default floor a mat, a thumbnail, a rendering thumbnail, we need to be able to locate this folder. So I already have done this. I have mats here. All you need to do is right click in this gray box and you will click add current folder to the shortcut. And then you will click open so that this mats shortcut will stay put. Once you've done that, we can go back to floor-hardwood and click on the image and then click on mats. So that's how you add that to your directory. Sorry about that. I forgot that that was going to be the case. And now we can select any hardwood material we want. If you want to change the view into a thumbnail, you can. And then if you click Control and scroll your mouse wheel, click and hold Control and scroll your mouse wheel, it'll make those thumbnails a little larger. And you can locate a flooring material that you would like to use for the hardwood floors. Most of them are in the same section under woods. Just make sure you're choosing a hardwood floor, not a panel piece of like plywood for a cabinet. Make sure you locate the hardwood floor section. And you can just scroll through and find something that looks like something you'd want to put in your home. I prefer the dark espresso chocolate style hardwood floors. Here's a chocolate brown. You could go almost cherry. So just pick a color. You're going to customize this home, so make sure that it has a sort of a color scheme behind it that makes sense. We wouldn't want to have, brown floor, black walls, and blue colored trim. We want everything to look like it belongs together. All right, so I'm going to pick this oak chocolate. And since I clicked on the graphics rendering appearance, this updates as well because the color of the image, the picture, is going to be transposed over to the graphic. All right, so that was a lot of information. You only have to do this once, and this is saved. So our material is floor-hardwood. We'd click OK. And we will select OK on the Edit assembly, and then again OK on the Properties. And now we can pick walls and draw in our flooring. Technically, our flooring will not be underneath our cabinets. It will not be underneath walls because those come first. The stud walls come first, and then the cabinets would come in, and then the flooring. But for just the ease of using the program, instead of tracing around every single wall and only placing flooring inside the walls, we can just select a boundary, much like we did for the slab. Personally, you should not put hardwood floors in a bathroom that has a tub, just for the water sake of it. You can pick a tile that looks like hardwood. So we're not going to put hardwood floor inside our bathroom. So we're going to work around that, and I'll show you how to do that. But for everything else in this home, we're going to have full hardwoods all the way around. And right here, I'm going to show you the split button. It's up in the Modify tab, Split Element. When you click a split element, you can do this for a wall or these boundary lines. When you hit the split button, you've broken the line into two line segments. Okay, so I have line segment 1, line segment 2, and then I'm going to pick walls for my boundary for the bathroom. And then I'm going to use my trim extend tool to make these lines go around the bathroom. All right, so I have a continuous boundary, and my hardwood floor will be inside this area. So once that's done, you'll click the green check. Revit might think for a moment, and then you're going to see that the hardwood floor with the color from the graphics view of the rendering view is shown. So your screen may look different. You may have a different color at this point. We will repeat the same steps again. You will create another flooring material for tile in your bathroom, and you will do this on your own. So you will have a main floor, and you will have a tile floor. If you want to add carpet in your bedroom, you can. You will just have to trace around the walls and have a seamless transition between the two materials. So handle that, take care of those things, get your flooring set, and then we will view the next video for more information where we will add color to the walls and add our trim for the base molding and the crown molding.